Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tyler Waldrop here with Andrew Bone for today's Daily Recruiting Nugget. And today we're talking about not one, but two prospects because we're talking about five-star offensive tackle Tommy Brockmeyer and his twin brother, James Brockmeyer. Bone, what can you sort of tell us about those guys?
Yeah, the Brockermeyer twins out of Fort Worth. Two of the top overall players. In the state of Texas and in the country. Tommy ranked a little bit higher. He's a little bit bigger. He's kind of recruited as a tackle. Big guy, 6'6", 290 pounds. It's been a heavily recruited prospect for the last couple of years. And as of right now, you're currently sitting as the number 10 overall player in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and as a five-star recruit. James, a little bit smaller. He's around 6'3", 6'4", about 270 pounds. Recruited as a center, but one of the top centers in the country. I think he's one of the top three centers in the country right now. Is in the Rivals 250. Has
Mm-hmm.
continued to get better, and probably is. I mean, he's going to continue to get better, especially working with his father. His father's been, their father's been working with them this spring, during this whole quarantine. And their father, Blake Brockermeyer, was an All-American at the University of Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a first-round NFL draft pick and played in the NFL for I think 10 years. So, having a father like that, and knowing his ability, and him seeing everything, and what you need to work on, and develop before you get to the next level. I think he's helped them out quite a bit.
I'll just start with the obvious question that I think most people are asking. Are they locks for Texas with their dad? Does that mean why are we talking about them with who their dad is?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Tommy and James is their relationship with the coaching staffs. Alabama's ability to develop and continuing to put out first round draft picks at the offensive line position and All Americans at the offensive line position. I think they developed a very good, strong bond with Kyle Flood, the offensive line coach, along with Nick Saban. I mean, those guys talked to Coach Saban a good bit, and they visited Alabama a few times, and I think they're very comfortable. Now, obviously, being a Texas legacy, especially not just somebody who may have been a contributor or a just on the team. You're dealing with father who was an All-American and a first-round draft pick, and in the Ring of Fame or whatever they call it over at Texas. And there's definitely a lot of pressure, especially being in the state of
Mm-hmm.
Texas. We used to see every single kid from the state of Texas commit to Texas, and now we've seen a lot of top Texas guys leave the state and create their own legacies, and go to top programs. And Alabama has recruited the state of Texas extremely well since Nick Saban first arrived, and like they continue to get top players from Texas almost every single year, and I don't think this year is any different. I mean, I think there's no doubt the Brockermeyer twins are two of their top overall targets throughout the country, and I think they've got a great chance to land them. Now, they were gonna, now Jane, the kind of interesting thing about these guys taking their official visits is they can take two, because you can bring your sibling, you can bring your parents on your official visit. So James was actually going to take his official visit to Alabama in April, where, well, Tommy was going to be able to come with him. Tommy was going to take his official visit to Alabama, I believe, in June, and James was going to be able to come back on that trip with him. So they were going to get two official visits at Alabama, two official visits at LSU, two official visits at Texas. I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if they're going to be able to still do that. I think they'll certainly still at least take one official visit together. But not really sure when they're going to make a decision. With this whole coronavirus stuff, not being able to take visits during the spring, they were hoping to get to a bunch of schools. Well, not a bunch, but the top
Mm-hmm.
schools: Alabama, LSU, Texas, at least those programs before they got ready to make their decision. But now doesn't look like that's going to happen in June. Will it potentially happen in July? Maybe, but as of right now, nothing yet. And I don't think they're in a rush. I think they still want to take those visits, at least to those three schools. They may visit some other schools. We may see them get up to Clemson, maybe a couple others, Auburn as well. Auburn's in the mix. But I think, in my opinion, there's no doubt top three is Alabama, Texas, and LSU. And I really think it ends up being an Alabama-Texas battle because even though we all kind of think Alabama's in the driver's seat, there's always going to be a lot of pressure on them to stay home. They're getting it probably every single day on social media and from fans in the community, and and they're comfortable with Texas. They've been there a lot. They've gone there so many times growing up, and I'm sure they've got a lot of friends who go to Texas or are going to be going to Texas next year. But as of right now, I think they're going to Alabama. I think Alabama's done a tremendous job recruiting them. I think they really like the new strength and conditioning coaches who they've FaceTimed already this spring, and they're starting to develop a relationship with those guys. So as of right now, I predict Alabama, but you just never know how things may shape out, especially if what happens if they don't take any more visits. When will visits resume and stuff like that. But as of right now, predicting Alabama, and I think obviously their biggest competition there is going to be Texas.
Just to clear things up for me and the fans watching at home, we keep using the word "they" when we talk about these guys. Do we believe these guys are definitely a package deal at this point?
Yeah, they've talked about, making their own decisions, but I talked to both of those guys last month, and I think that's certainly going to be the case. I think both of them want to play together. They got a good bond, good connection with each other. They like working with each other, and I'd be surprised if one goes one place and then one goes another. I think both of them are pretty set on on going to the same school at this time, and both of them are also planning on graduating early.
Okay, so yeah, both we see these two guys, these two high-rated twins. Could be a real obviously if they make the same decision together, just could be a huge day for whatever school they commit to.
Yeah, no doubt. And, Alabama looking to really reload on the offensive line in this recruiting class after only signing 3 offensive linemen last year. So this is this is going to be a really big year for them this year. So we'll kind of see what happens. But as of right now, I like Alabama's chances, and they need to get probably, in my opinion, they really need to get around 5, maybe even 6 offensive linemen in this class. And, those would certainly, they don't have any right now. They're currently sitting at 0, so they really need to get some on board. And they're certainly 2 of their top overall targets right now.
You talked about their sort of original plan being to take one official visit together in the spring, then one together in the fall. Obviously, there's no way to know, how their plans have changed maybe for certain with when they're going to commit. But do you get a feel that these are going to be late decisions made by these guys between Alabama and Texas?
Yeah, I don't think they're in a rush right now. It wouldn't surprise me if they decided to make a decision, maybe this summer. I think that was the original plan. The original plan was, take some spring visits, enjoy the process a little bit, maybe get to a few schools early in the summer in June, and then make that decision before their senior season. Well, now without being able to take those visits and enjoy the process, I don't know if they're going to, continue to wait and, maybe take those visits in the fall, or if they're going to just, kind of sit back, continue to, talk to these coaches, every single day, and then still make that decision before the start of the season. Don't know yet, but it doesn't look like they're in a rush. All these schools that are recruiting them, they're going to have that opportunity to commit to those programs whenever they want, because they understand their top priorities for these schools, and there's always going to be a position available. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a decision still before the start of the senior season.
Okay, good information today from Andrew Bone. Again, on not one, but we got 2 guys as kind of a bonus to start things off. We just want to encourage y'all to definitely make sure if you're watching this video, you found our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe so you can keep up with it. Last week we had Alabama had a commitment. We had 3 stories and a video dropped within seconds of him making the decision. You're going to want to kind of read that content. And if you haven't, I would encourage y'all to go back, check it out on the site. definitely go back and watch Bone discuss the commitment. And just keep up with that stuff, because, that recruiting is the big thing happening right now, and we're going to cover it for y'all. So just make sure you're checking out BamaInsider.com, and obviously make sure you're continuing to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us.